This is the Truth Network.
Coming to you from an entrenched barricade deep in the heart of central North Carolina. Masculine Journey After Hours. A time to go deeper and be more transparent on the topic covered on this week's broadcast. So sit back and join us on this adventure. The Masculine Journey After Hours starts here now.
Welcome to Masculine Journey After Hours, and I was corrected in the first show. We are not doing a pillars, we're doing a foundational series. A series, the World Series, on the Core Desires. I'm telling you.
No, the Core Desires is our first segment.
Course, okay.
Yeah, the foundations are going to be several different topics are foundational to our beliefs and of our ministry.
Yeah.
So this is just the first one is Core Desires, and then we'll move on to other foundational.
It's almost
beliefs.
like it'll probably be like most every chapter of the book, but there's other stuff. There's stages of the masculine journey. There's a variety of things that are core to what we do beyond the Wild Art book. Yeah, Orphan Spirit. You got to talk about that.
Presence.
Yeah. We always get the orphan spirit. I'm wondering if the Core Desires
there
is
might have
the
been an inside
tripod.
joke going on there. For those of you who don't know, Andy loves to talk about the orphan spirit, and so I know that foundationally, it's pretty foundational.
Yeah, it is indeed. We'll talk about that later. But, there's a variety of things that come out of the Wild Art book. I mean, I look at Sam, I think about wounds because, I don't think we realize how often we are wounded.
I was kind of moved.
And I know Sam's over here looking at me like, what you talking about, Willis? But I'm saying that because he reminds me a lot of times of we just gloss over our wounds and we don't really go down deep into them. Well, we'll get to that, and that's core to that's another thing that's part of the foundational things that we believe, and it's just an example beyond the core desires of the kinds of things we'll be talking about.
I just thought you meant I caused more wounds than anyone else.
Well, there's some truth to that.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I'm admitting it as the first part of your recovery.
Hurt people, right, Sam?
Exactly.
I thought, taken out of context, we're really going to see a battle to fight here. No. Well, Andy, you have the first clip, sir.
I do. So I was kind of in the spirit of Outlaw Josey Wales. I had another trip.
Yeah.
Did an adventure trip that I talk about this past week. But when I did, the place that Outlaw Josey Wales was shot, I was able to visit Kanab, Utah. And when I did...
He was never shot.
That's right.
The TV show, the movie.
Actually,
the movie was filmed. Another pun.
He was shot several times. He just wasn't killed.
That's a foundational thing too, is Robbie's puns. So anyway, it got me to watch the movie. I was just looking to see if I could see, the lay of the land and that kind of thing. Didn't really see any of that. Did see the old movie set of Gunsmoke that is in disarray right now. But anyway. That was fresh on my heart, so I battled to fight. Who fought battles better than Josey Wales? If you've not seen it, please go watch the movie. It's a great movie, but Josey Wales started out as farmer Josey Wales, or he could have been the Mr. Rogers for that neighborhood. He was very passive, not passive. It didn't show a violent side. It was the very start of the movie, but he was just trying to raise his family and enjoy life. And that's why a lot of us as Christians, we've received Christ. We just want to get through life and be kind. But the devil pulls us in, and he took his family out. And he had something to fight for after that. And a lot of times when you watch Outlaw Josey Wales, you just see revenge. But really, if you look at it, you see Josey standing up for people all throughout the movie, and he has a battle to fight. And so in this clip, it's just getting started where the Union, I guess, paramilitary guys they're just running roughshod out of the country trying to keep people in line with what they believe. And he's being chased, Josey is, and he gets to this river, and he's got to either fight or cross it. Well, he gets across, and the paramilitary's on the other side, and he's trying to figure out a way to handle the situation. Should he fight or should he do something else? And you'll hear people discussing about it, the paramilitary side, what we should should we do? I want to play the clip and explain what you hear of how he handles the situation and speak to kind of how he chooses how he fights in this battle.
He is trampling out the vintage evergreen.
We've got him now. We'll get these two first, and we'll get the others.
What others? Wales and the kid are the last ones.
I know. Texas is full of rebels. Lots of work to do down in Texas.
We get Josey Wales and it ends.
Doing right ain't got no end.
We best hurry on, Josey.
They'd catch up to us by the end of the day. Judging by these tracks, there's maybe 40, 50 horses ahead of us. What we've got to do is space some time between them and us.
What are we going to do?
Stay right here.
Glory. Welcome. Welcome, gentlemen. Howdy.
He's still there.
Still there? What does he think he's doing?
Oh, no. Some of you men get down there, prepare to fire.
Captain Redlegs, I advise you to turn back. You can catch him later.
Turn back. Are you crazy? He's gonna try to pick us off one by one. He'll never do it. At best, he'll get 2 or 3 up front there.
I advise you to turn back, Captain.
They're coming.
Do you really think you can shoot all those men down before they shoot you? Oh, no, Mr. Josey Wales. There is such a thing in this country called justice.
Well, Mr. Carpetbagger, we got something in this territory called the Missouri Boat Ride.
So you have to be from Missouri to appreciate a Missouri boat ride. You know, if you look at the way the word is spelled, it ends in an I. So I'm from Missouri, but that's how we say it. So were you going to say something, Sam? It looked like you're going to jump in there. All right, that means nothing. The clip, though, that boat ride he gave him, though, was he was understanding how to fight the battle. He would have been in bad shape if he would have just tried to pick them off as they floated across, but he shot the ferry line, and they just started floating down the river and gave him plenty of time to get away. And it goes in, what does that have to do with battle? Well, Josey, he was a violent guy. He could take care of battles by just taking care of brute force fighting. But in this situation, he used wisdom on how to fight his battle. And I think a lot of times, once you decide that you or understand that you need to fight this battle, then it's not just, you can't fight the same way every time. You have to use wisdom in applying what you've learned and listening to God of how you actually fight the battle, and that's kind of what he did there. So I thought it was
Well, it's like David's story, right? When he was fighting, he never fought the same way twice. You know, God would tell him to do it this way one time and this way another time, and if you try to fight with that same formula, it's going to get figured out and it's not going to work. And that's where you have to lean into God and say, okay, God, how do I need to fight this, and when and where?
The first question was always, shall I go up? You know,
right.
Will you defeat them? Will we win? And that's a lot of times we don't even ask. We just start fighting. We just start flailing our arms, and we don't get any counsel from God. So,
yeah, one of the other cool battles in the clip, if you listen to it, is the Carpetbagger, right? And if you're familiar with the history and who those guys were, I mean, obviously big time taking advantage of people. And once again, you see Josey Wales standing up.
Yep.
And when he even calls him a carpetbagger, you can tell that, okay, Mr. Carpetbagger, we've got, and fascinatingly, he completely destroys his argument. Like, you think you're
right, yeah.
But I mean, he's totally humiliated and standing there, and it's just a fascinating, and you see the same thing, obviously, in the movie Braveheart, or maybe not, but if you watch Braveheart, you'll see it time again, where the enemy is totally humiliated when they underestimate, right, what a real man can do with God's help.
And Jesus did it. He humiliated the Pharisees. He put them in their place. He called them snakes, for goodness sake. I mean, there's a lot to that, but to that point, that carpetbagger was acting as a voice of the enemy.
Right.
He was accusing him. Yeah, what are you going to do? You know, he didn't really give any credence to Josey as a fighter, or he was stupid or whatever. So,
if you want a biblical story to go look up, you know, on how the power of following after God's heart and being a warrior and maybe having a comrade with you, right, or an ally with you, just look up the story of Jonathan.
Yeah.
Right, and how he took on the many that he took on.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you were talking about David, and in Psalms 144 he wrote, "Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle."
Yep.
So that's what, Lord, how do I fight this? Where do I go?
Trained.
And he's trained by God, the warrior.
Yeah.
So
we'll get into sonship, but that is what he does. He teaches his sons how to fight in this battle.
And he teaches us how to fight, because we really don't know sometimes, most of the time. Right. So,
well, if you're out there and you're thinking, well, I'm just not into this physical violence, it's not about that. There's other things in life you fight for.
Yeah.
Right. How many times are you playing a game, like Monopoly, and you want to be the one to win it, right? That's a competitive spirit. That's a battle to fight. That's in your heart at the core. Maybe it's fighting against injustice, or it's fighting against something that's not the way it's supposed to be. And I know that's injustice, but there's lots of things that don't fall into that.
Yeah.
Where's your heart leading you to fight against something you know is wrong? And that's God calling you to step up and enter in the battle with him against something that he's put in your heart as a passion to go do.
Yeah, we talk about, fighting for our families. And I think we have Mitch. Are you on the line with us?
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
You want to tell us about your upcoming event here in North Carolina? You are in, I can't remember what state. Indiana.
We're in Indiana, yeah. But we, first of all, thanks a lot for inviting me and letting me join you guys tonight. It's such a topic that's near and dear to our heart. But what we're planning on doing is we have a father-daughter camp at Camp Harrison in Nebo in September on the 19th through the 21st. And that is, gosh, we've been doing that for 19 years. We've done 20 of these things, 21 of them actually now. And, it's just a chance for a guy to connect with his daughter. So many men, they can connect with their sons, or they connect with other guys, but they struggle to connect with their daughter. So we offer this weekend just to provide that space under God's covering for a guy to connect, have a great time with his daughter, and for his daughter to see him as something other than, the old man who comes home from work too late on his phone. So, I'd love to have you come September 19th through the 21st, and that is, girls 6 to 16, and it's not too far from where you guys are at in the Triad. And, I have a girl, though, that's 19 years old coming to Indiana here in a couple of weeks. And she said, heck, I come back from college just to be with my dad, because we've done this for so many years, and it means so much to me.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful thing. I think we're about an hour from the Triad, and it's obviously not too far from Spartanburg or Greenville either. You're probably in that same hour and a half area to the camp. So it would be a great thing to take your daughter to, maybe 2 hours away. But how often do you get to take your daughter to something that's going to impact her life and your relationship from now on? That's a weekend well spent, and I recommend it highly. And we'll get it sent out to you in email and posted on our social media page.
Thanks so much.
Rodney?
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that go on in this world. Like here you have daughters and dads wanting to get closer together. That's what we need to be doing all the time, is trying to get people closer together through so many different ways. And that's where, like, even in the clip that we just heard, Josey Wales wasn't about tearing people apart. He wasn't about tearing things down. He was really about bringing people together, but nobody wanted to go with him. Nobody wanted to join in. So he has to go fight actually against the people that are coming after him, or he just dies. Because you saw what happened at the beginning of the movie when they just captured everybody and said, okay, you're going to just going to give up. Well, then they just shot them all. So he fought back when he saw that, because he didn't go in to be shot, and he fights back. And when you see that happening throughout the movie, he constantly sticks up for other people in the movie. He helps out. There's so many things that go on in that movie that are just really wonderful to think about, well, how am I going to do that? And that's not the easiest thing to do, is to stand up for somebody else. But that's like we were talking earlier. It's not always about fighting. Sometimes it's just about speaking with somebody. It can be really, really simple thing, but stand up for something for somebody else sometimes is a lot I don't know what you would say, but it's not always the easiest thing, but it's sometimes the right thing to go do. Just stand up for somebody else and just keep on moving on.
Oh, I was going to ask how flexible those little girl years are. I mean, my little girl is 40, just turned 48, and she's 6'1". But before I heard the age range, that was my first thought. I'd like to go with my daughter.
Yeah, I just as a side note, we do encourage guys to come with older daughters if they want to, and a lot of times what they'll do is come and just hang out, maybe not play the games and do the things that we do with the younger girls, but just spend time together. And so give me a call if you want to talk about something like that. You know, my daughter's 25 now, and she's continued to come since she was 5 years old. So
that's
you can see it a lot of different ways.
All right. Well, I chose a clip this week. I rehashed a clip from an older show, but it was a good clip from Good Will Hunting. And I got some grief in the pre-show. My brain is disconnected from time to time. Couldn't remember who Matt Damon played, and his name is Will. And they said I could hunt for his name. So and so that was kind of I got it. So anyway, but him and Sean, who is played by Robin Williams, are having a conversation like they do throughout this movie. And Will is this troubled child. Basically, he's still a child. He's in college, or he's janitor in college, and they're having this interchange. And Sean pours some wisdom into him, but he's coming after his heart, as we picked out. That he's not being mean to him, but he's sharing some what I would call unadulterated truth with him. That here we are. And we can play this clip, and then I'll talk about why I chose it on the backside. So,
thought about what you said to me the other day about my painting. Stayed up half the night thinking about it. Something occurred to me. I fell into a deep, peaceful sleep, and I haven't thought about you since. You know what occurred to me? No. You're just a kid. You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Why, thank you.
It's all right. You're a tough kid. I ask you about war, you probably throw Shakespeare at me, right? Once more into the breach, dear friends. But you've never been near one. You've never held your best friend's head in your lap and watch him gasp his last breath looking to you for help. You don't know about real loss, because that only occurs when you love something more than you love yourself. I doubt you've ever dared to love anybody that much. I look at you, I don't see an intelligent, confident man. I see a cocky, scared kid. You're an orphan, right? Do you think I'd know the first thing about how hard your life has been? How you feel? Who you are? Because I read Oliver Twist? Does that encapsulate you? Personally, I don't give it about all that, because you know what? I can't learn anything from you. I can't read in some book. Unless you want to talk about you, who you are, then I'm fascinated. I'm in. But you don't want to do that, do you, sport? You're terrified of what you might say. Your move, Chief.
It's set in our hearts. We've talked about it. We do have a battle to fight. And, you see it in, I remember a video one of my buddies sent of his son. He took him to martial arts training. And he sent me a video, and he got one of these rubber knives. And the kid's probably 2 or 3. And he's wandering around. He's got the wrong end of the knife. He's holding the handle. But he's weaponized this thing. And he says, see, there is a battle to fight. But so often we engage in battle, like I talked about earlier, and we may be in the right battle, but we don't know how to fight. And Sean is telling him that you really don't know nothing, kid. And I've been told that a couple of times in my life. I thought about a story when I first got sober in '94. I had a mentor, and he was pouring into me, and Sean was mild compared to Tim. Tim passed away several years ago, but Tim was rough dude. I mean, and I confronted him, because all we were really doing was, in my own mind, I'm wanting to work on myself and get sober and get my life right and go on about living. And all we're doing is showing up at AA meetings and making coffee and that kind of thing. And I'm going, what's this got to do with anything? And so I confronted him because I can be combative at times. I know that surprises some of you. But so he counteracts it, Andy. And he goes, I said, what's all this got to do? I want to work on me, is what I said. He says, let me ask you something. He said, when you were out there drinking and drugging, he said, somebody asked you to do something, how dependable were you to show up and do it? Probably a 50-50 shot there. And that kind of thing. He says, so now you're being responsible. Is that not working on you? And he went through time after time and how that thing was. And it never occurred to me, I'm learning responsibility. I'm learning to, not that I didn't know it, it's just I had engaged in it. And that's what that interchange made me think about, was that there is a battle, but other people have to lay out the battleground for me sometimes. Yeah. And, you guys have, coming to my first boot camp was, we'd been in the genre of Wild at Heart and all that stuff, but then I show up and, it just opened up a whole nother world and go, man, that makes sense for some scary reason or something. Didn't hear that in Sunday school. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, speaking to that whole idea of being more disciplined and seeing the value of it, it's the whole Karate Kid and the wax on, wax off kind of thing, right? It's where you don't think it has anything to do with becoming a warrior, or he didn't, Daniel didn't, but as he continued to do it, he actually became a really good warrior, learning to wax the car and what else was it? Paint the side, paint the fence. Paint the fence. Yeah, right.
Did you watch the movie?
It sounded good when I started talking about it.
It quickly went downhill from there. Yeah.
Well, I can't keep looking. You look like John Belushi in like 1941 or what, the way you got your
okay.
The way you got your headset. I think it's on backwards.
Doesn't matter.
I don't mean to.
No, there's one over either ear, so I'm good to go. Yeah.
It works better backwards.
It works.
I think you're up, aren't you?
No, I just want to poke fun at you. That's all I really want to do.
I was trying to do that.
Art, what did you have to add to this?
Oh, I was going to say, you can actually see how funny that looks if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, watching the live. You can see.
Oh, well, thank you.
You can see.
Look at him, he is.
If you check us out on Facebook or YouTube, you realize why we're really a radio show. I mean, it's pretty obvious pretty quick. Anybody else got anything they want to add?
On this battle to fight, I think it's just something that you got to say, God, what are you calling me to? Right? And a way to do that is, what's things that really irritate you? What's something that really you see an injustice and you just can't help but say something about it? Well, maybe you need to do something more than say about it. Maybe you need to take action. Maybe you need to get people together. Maybe you need to do something other than just be frustrated, right? But let your emotions be your guide to say, okay, God, why does this bother me so much? Why did this hurt? Or what's it touching in my heart that you're trying to get at? And let him lead you through it, because you really need it to do that. Robbie, I'm assuming you're doing something towards me. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Well, thank you. Yeah,
sorry.
The camera, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a
picture of John Belushi.
You're going to have to go watch the Facebook feed to figure out what they're talking about. But here, I'll give you a cameo for it. There we go. So anything else anyone wants to add? Robbie, you got anything you'd like to add on this battle to fight topic?
With that helmet on, that you're wearing, reminds me of Tom. He came to boot camp with that kind of helmet like John.
Yeah,
Belushi
I'm going to wear a leather hat next week. One of those leather helmet things, I think.
Right, but there's so much that when you really even think about it, even the idea of coming to boot camp is a battle to fight, right?
Oh, yeah.
And anything that the enemy, anywhere where you begin to rise up and walk with God, you're going to have a battle to fight, because he's going to do everything he can to stop, you getting closer to God, your relationship with your wife, your relationship with your daughter. Those are all things that require that. And the beautiful thing of it is, it's not stuff you do for God, it's stuff you do with God. Mm-hmm. And so as you enter into that battle, like if you want to have the sense to take that shot like Josey Wales and take off the rope rather than, as you're walking with God, He gives you that kind of wisdom, like He gave King David, as we talked about in 1 Samuel, where he, went to God, even though he'd been very successful in fighting the Philistines, coming straight up against him. But the next time they said, no, come through, through the myrtles and wait till you hear him marching in the bushes, and then you can put on your John Belushi hat and,
go to town.
Go to town.
But like you're saying, Robbie, there's fights everywhere. Don't forget your son. That's another place. And then you got your parents if you're younger. And then if you're in the middle, you still got your parents and your grandparents. There's so many people that you deal with in your life that are just friends, that are just whatever. Everything you can do to bring God with you in that is just so helpful. It has helped me, I know, immensely over the years, just to be able to, okay, well, where would God go right now? What would He do? Because I usually don't know.
So going along with that, Robbie, and along with Mitch's camp, the father and daughter camp, I do have a farm story for today. I'm trying to increase the, we don't have much time, but...
you can go ahead and start.
Okay.
If it cuts off, we'll tell the rest of it next week.
Okay, so like today, I had this day-old calf in the pasture and his mama, and I was with the dogs, and we were trying to go around them and avoid them to not upset the mother, but the mother preemptively came out and started chasing the dogs and starting a fight. You got to fight for your daughters, fight for your sons. Go to Mitch's camp if you have a daughter and take her there.
And come to our boot camp.
Come to our boot camp November 20th through the 23rd at Royston, Georgia. You can check us out on masculinejourney.org and Facebook and YouTube if you want to see us. So we will talk to you next week.
This is the Truth Network.